him the Big A, was a wonderful man who raised 3 very special children. Was the best Pepaw to 9 grandchildren, 8 grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. He was retired from GE after a 38-year career. He also was a lifetime member of the Knights of Columbus and the American Legion, Bonnie Sloan Post 28. As a father, he set very important standards of living for his children. Debbie, Diane, and David all learned at a young age that honesty is truly the best policy in life. Pepaw used to say, no matter what you do, you tell the truth, because if you don't, it's going to be worse for you in the end. That statement still rings true in life today, and is still being passed down through my generation to my kids. Pepaw stood for many things, but one thing you could definitely say about him is that he was a patriot. Pepaw loved his country, and he was a firm believer in God, and he instilled those values in everyone in his family. And because of that, we've had many family members proudly serve this great country in the U.S. military, and we thank God that those of them that have served overseas have made it home safely. Pepaw was a man's man. He was a tough, hard-working man with a big heart, and he loved his family. And yet he still had the ability to be intimidating if he needed to be. If you don't believe me, just ask my dad about his first date with my mom. If you ever wanted to make him angry, just tell him that Hulk Hogan was a much better wrestler than Ric Flair ever was. Believe me, we had that debate many times as a kid. You could always talk bad about the Indiana Hoosiers, but that was typically not a good idea. He was a man of conviction and strong in his beliefs, and no matter who you are, you have to respect a man like that, and he was well respected by everyone that knew him. The Andrew name is one that is still being represented within our family. It has become a tradition that everyone have at least one son with the name Andrew as either the first or middle name. I am one of the lucky ones who gets to carry on the middle name of Andrew, and I have passed that on to my oldest son. Each of us represents the nickname of Little A, which is what Pepaw always called me. I am truly one of the very fortunate people in this world that got to call this amazing man my Pepaw and my friend. I was the youngest grandchild for a long time, so I was the one that was left behind when the bigger kids would go off and play. I used to hate this, but I look back now and realize it was because of this that me and Pepaw got to spend so much time together. He used to always give me job titles and made me his assistant at everything, which always made me feel so special. I remember being his co-captain on the pontoon boat, and I remember so well that we would always be wearing our captain hats while we were driving the boat together, and he made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. In my life, I've truly been blessed with an amazing family that have set great standards and principles in life, and that is all because of the amazing job that Pepaw, Andy, and Mamaw Dot have instilled in their own kids. Growing up, we had one of the tightest families you have ever seen. We all went on vacations together, we went camping all the time, and we all got together at least one day a week. So I grew up with my Mamaw and Pepaw being a big part of my life. Because of that, Pepaw was one of the most influential males in my life and a big part of making me the man I am today. And I thank him for the great role model he was to me and my family. The loss of someone as important as he was to all of us is something that will never go away. We will always remember him, and we will always think of him. The lessons he taught each and every one of us will always live on through the way we live our lives and the way we raise our kids. There is comfort for us in knowing that with the passing of Pepaw, there was a heavenly reunion between him and Mamaw. I can picture the image in my head of him walking to the gates with Mamaw and Smokey, waiting there for him, and I can imagine the embrace and the joy they both felt being reunited after all these years. And it was all the more special because Pepaw got to spend his birthday with the love of his life. It is extremely difficult to put into words how special he was to me and everyone in this room. I hope I have done him justice, and may he rest easy in heaven and watch down upon us and always remain in our hearts and minds. And may his spirit always live on in each of us. I will always love you, Big A, and you'll never be forgotten.